What is up? Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Gearing Up. This is the podcast where we talk about life, gear, photos, and whatever else we find interesting. A lot of times it's everyday carry related, sometimes it's not. Today's going to be kind of a mixed bag. If you're new around here, thanks for checking us out. Be sure to subscribe, share it with your friends. We appreciate all of the love. If you're not new around here, you're probably wondering where the heck I have been. Oh, and boy, what a time it has been. Ooh, ooh. So I don't know where to begin. I don't know where I last left off. I'm trying to even remember when the last time I recorded an episode was. I feel like it was like 2 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago, maybe. I don't know. But the point is, I fell deathly ill. I mean, I haven't been that sick since I was like 9 years old. Like my wife quarantined me into our bedroom. No lie, she was dropping stuff off at the door and texting me when it was there or knocking. And I'd go pick it up, and then I had to take care of my own dishes and then Lysol. I mean, she was following me around with a can of Lysol for days. But it was all in the name of not getting her or our son's sick, and so it kind of had to happen, I guess. But that really took me back. I mean, I went to work Monday, and about 11:30 or so I left, and I didn't go back until the next week. Ooh, it was rough. So that was 2 weeks ago, I think, if my brain is functioning, which I think it is now. Yeah, so that was 2 Mondays ago that all went down. So it's been at least 2 weeks since we've spoken. So welcome back. I missed you guys. I've been getting a lot of awesome messages on the Instagrams and elsewhere saying, hey, where's the podcast? Oh, hey, cool, you're coming back. Okay, great, yeah. So I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to get back into the groove of things. I wanted to talk about a few things today. And, you know, before we even get into that stuff, if you guys are wondering where April is, it's currently 9:18, and I think if I would have said, hey, let's go do the podcast at like 8 o'clock, she'd be in. But the Astros, for those of you that don't know, we're the Houston area, so the Astros are in the World Series right now. They were down 2 games, now they're up 3-2, so we've been staying up late watching Astros games and all of that stuff. But so anyways, it's late, and she opted out of this episode, which I completely understand. No hard feelings, but it may get kind of boring. So yeah, that's what you're working with. But anyways, I had a topic in mind tonight that is not very everyday carry related. So before we get into that, I wanted to talk about some of the new gear that I've got and what you guys can look forward to seeing on the Instagram feed. So if you've looked at my last couple of shots, I have a recently acquired from the man himself, from Scott McCoskery, Mr. Torque Bar, aka the man that invented the fidget spinner. I have a torque bar, and I have a desk job, and I do a lot of sitting, and I do a lot of twiddling, and twiddling tends to turn into doodling or distracting, and so I was like, I'm going to give the old fidget spinner a real try, and I've just enjoyed carrying it. It's fun. And so I know fidget spinners aren't cool, but I have a Zerk torque bar that I absolutely love, and I was stoked to get it from directly from Scott. He was super cool to work with, and I'm just glad that it worked out that way. My cap lifter, I have posted 4 billion pictures of because I absolutely love it. But I got a Vegas Forge Damtanium. I think I'm saying that right. It's basically Damascus Mokutai. I don't know all the differences between all those, but it's basically a Damascus. And it's I don't know if I'm using the right term, but it looks like kind of a low layer pattern where it's not super wavy. Anyways, I got it, polished the F out of it, and then recolored it. So that has been my goat lately. And then I've also been carrying, I think I shouted him out on the last episode, or the one before that, but I've been carrying my Twice Born Customs micarta classic SD Swiss Army knife, and it's been just a pleasure. New addition, so I had my Dragon Scale Tiny Bolt in titanium. Just recently swapped it with someone, a wonderful gentleman, for a brass one. So now I have a brass Dragon Scale with all the Zerk parts. So be on the lookout for that. Absolutely love it. And I've just been feeling Zerk and brass lately. So that's why I have the Zerk and brass pen. I have the Zerk and brass torque bar. My Spidey Benza, Chris Reeves Benza with the spider hole. Spider hole. That one is going to have a Zerk clip. So that'll kind of tie in. Anyways, that's the gear that I've been rocking lately. And, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I absolutely love the cap lifter. I love the classic SD. I love the Sebenza, and then the torque bar is just, again, it's, I know they're not cool anymore, but it's a lot of fun. I love carrying it. So yeah, that's what I've got in my pockets lately. So if that interests you, great. Follow along at GTDunn on Instagram. You can see all of those things in all their glory. Or if you want to comment on one of my posts or the post for this episode, holler at me and tell me what you're carrying. What have you gotten lately that you're excited about? What do you hope to get? What are you saving up for? What do you think I should check out? Those are things that you guys can comment and let me know, and I would love that kind of input and that kind of feedback. So that's really it for the air quotes everyday carry section of today's episode. Again, I feel like I should at least try to be sort of everyday carry-ish, but I wanted to talk about some of my favorite shows. So there's 2 or 3 guys at the office that love watching shows as much as I do, and so we all, every now and then we'll get into talks about podcasts, but more often than not it's Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO shows that, oh man, have you checked out this? Oh, have you watched that yet? And we'll go on and on. And so I love getting recommendations on shows, and I love recommending shows to people. And I am just so bad at this. I overhype things on Netflix, like kind of a lot, but I think with good reason. Like the stuff that I watch is great in its own right. So I wrote this list out not too long ago, and I asked you guys some shows, like what do you like to binge, what do you like to stream, and that's the topic that I wanted to go with. I wanted to do a Netflix and chill episode, or what is it that you guys love to stream. Well, it's all good and well, but unfortunately I lost all those answers. I don't know what happened to the note that I had saved. The only one that I remember everyone recommending was Letterkenny, which I know absolutely nothing about. It's like a Canadian vulgar comedy show, and I think I've watched the pilot, and it was funny. I mean, I think it's one of those shows you kind of have to like get accustomed to the humor and watch it, 2 or 3 episodes before it really starts to kick. But man, that show kept coming up, and I had no clue what it was. And then I realized I think it's a Hulu thing, and I just got rid of Hulu not that long ago, so I haven't been able to watch any of the stuff on there. So I wanted to go through and share with you guys my kind of top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I did 5. So I did kind of top 5. Like, you have to check these things out. And all of them except one are available on Netflix. So I feel like most people have Netflix. So, you should have this. If not, I'm sorry, go spend a couple bucks or borrow your buddy's login or something and check these out. Because I really, again, I kind of overhype things, so take it with a grain of salt. But I really think these are good shows to get into. And I also have some honorable mentions, and I'll go through those. But I wanted to say briefly, but I know I'm going to get long-winded. I wanted to talk about my 5 favorite shows to watch. And a few things before we dive too deep. I have a couple like nitpicky things with shows. So if So the first thing I'm going to say is kind of sketchy, but if you if it's a like renowned terrible finale, like if it's a series and it's done and the finale sucked, like I'm not even going to waste my time. So the one that comes to mind for me is Dexter, where everyone tells me Dexter's such a great show, but like the finale just screwed it up. And same with like How I Met Your Mother, I think. But yeah, those like botched finales, like oh, it's so good. You gotta check out at least the first 3 seasons or what. Like, okay, I don't want to invest in something that doesn't have a finale. I need something finite. So those are out, and then I guess my two things that I like dark stuff that's true-ish, and I'll get to the ish in a minute, but yeah, I like darker stuff and I like comedies. I like funny stuff. So that's pretty much what my list is. So I think I put these in order. I'm just going through them now, and yeah, I feel like these. So I'll just go through the list, and you can, in no particular order, we'll call it. So the first recommendation is Black Mirror. If you have not watched Black Mirror, we can't even be friends. It is hands down my favorite show. So just to give you guys a brief idea, if you've never heard of it or never seen it, each episode is kind of its own self-contained story. So you don't have to watch them in any kind of order. There are some elements, and there are blogs and wikis that try to talk about like an interconnected universe where everything happens. It's just different, but there are elements in one episode that you'll see in another, like a song or a headline or something. But for the most part, they're pretty self-contained, and so you can watch one, and you can watch something from season 3 and then go back to season 1 and not be like, what the heck? And it's pretty dark. There's not a ton of like super happy endings, but they're very like real stories. And by real, I just mean like people wise, mentally, emotionally. Like there is some like futuristic tech in some of them. And if someone explain Black Mirror to me, well, it's like it is a dark show that's very much like where our society or where technology is kind of heading, as far as like what we're doing with tech and how we're integrating it with our lives and stuff like that. So it's crazy. It's just some of the ideas in there and some of the stories and some of the twists. It's like it's unreal. And I've gotten into conversations with coworkers and friends and stuff about Black Mirror, and it's like, oh yeah, that one's my favorite. That one's so good. Oh, but then there's this one, and they recently launched like season 4 or 5, whatever the most recent one is, and it was only a couple episodes. Like the seasons are pretty short, so you can get through it pretty quickly. But I rewatched all of them, and still holds up. Like dollar for dollar, pound for pound, dollar for dollar, whatever you want to say. It's just an incredible show, and I'm a huge fan of it, and I try to recommend it to everyone I can. It's not for everybody. People watch the first episode, and the first episode is kind of out there and kind of shocking, I guess I would say. But don't let that determine, whether or not you watch any of it. And honestly, you don't even have to start with the first episode. Go to the second episode in the season, and I promise you, it's an insane ride. And there's so many instances where you'll watch an episode and it may not be a happy ending, but you're like, man, I bet that's what people would do, or what I would do. I always look at it as like, man, they may not be making like the happy movie endings, but they're making like this is how people really are endings. And it's crazy. Anyway, so that's my soapbox on Black Mirror. Absolutely love it. Cannot recommend it enough. If you've ever watched it, what did you think? What's your opinion? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Tell me. Let me know. Next on the list is The Office. And this one is kind of universally loved, so I don't have to spend a ton of time on it. But for me, replayability, this one's high. So like I've watched through, on my own, I've watched through The Office 2 or 3 times. April and I are watching it. I think we're on we just started season 9. So, hilarious show. It was one of those where like I watched the first, everybody told me to get into it and I never could. And then I watched the first 2 or 3 or 4 episodes, and When people say The Office is the only show that I've ever given the time of day for this, but people always say, "Oh, you gotta get to season 2." Like, if I have to invest an entire season into the show, I'm out. Like, I'm not, I'm not all for that. So this was one where I watched the first season and didn't love it and kind of stepped away, and then came back and kind of got used to the humor in it, and now I see why people love it, and it is one of my favorite shows. So also another super bingeable title. So number 3 on the list is a favorite of mine, an AMC original, Breaking Bad. This shouldn't surprise anyone that's seen it because it's a fantastic series. They just came out with a movie on Netflix, the El Camino. I haven't watched it. I don't know if I want to. I kind of just want to leave well enough alone. Because again, I know I said I don't watch series with like universally hated finales, but I also love shows that are finite and have a start and an end. Like, I do my best not to start series that are, because I hate waiting. Like, and one of the honorable mentions I'll get to. I'll kind of mention this, but like, I watch it and I binge it and I get all caught up, and now it's like, what the heck? I gotta wait, and I'm not all for that. So Breaking Bad makes the list. I've watched through the series, I think 3 times, and again, it's just one of those it's good, and you go back and you watch it and you forget, oh crap, I forgot this episode, like I forgot that happened, and again, even seeing it multiple times, it's still really good. So that's why it makes a list. If you haven't watched it, you gotta check it out. And if you've watched the movie, like, let me know what you think, because I don't know. Anyways, moving on. So number 4 on the list is an HBO original series. This is the only one that's not on Netflix, and that is Chernobyl. Chernobyl. I don't know. Chernobyl. So I know that this happened within a lot of your lifetimes. I wasn't quite born yet, but Chernobyl has always been this kind of fascinating story where this nuclear plant blew up, and it's great, but we didn't know a whole lot about it. And to me, I've watched through Chernobyl, I think twice now, and it's only like 5 episodes, so it's pretty easy to binge. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, in watching it the first time, it was a lot to process. It was a lot of information, but it was just so well done. And it's I'd say it's kind of a slow burn. It's not super fast paced. It's definitely a darker kind of show, but it was amazing to me, and I love the perspective of it wasn't even so much about the event at Chernobyl so much as it was about the after efforts of getting everything safe and then the Soviet Union covering it up. And that, to me, I don't know, it was just insane watching it. So absolutely love it. If you haven't checked it out, you gotta jump on HBO just to binge this. Do their 30-day trial and knock it out. And I promise you, if you like historically related things, like you're gonna enjoy it. It's a great series. So huge fan of that one, and it just absolutely blew me away. And so that's why I had to make sure that I put it on the list. So let me see. Sorry, bear with me. I'm going through the list now. Disregard that weird humming. So the last one on the list is another one that I am such a huge fan of, and this is why I don't get into shows that aren't completed. The last show, I love it. It's super intriguing. It's again a little bit of a slow burn, but it's all based on real stuff, and that is Mindhunter on Netflix. It's about the guys that kind of started studying serial killers, and they came up with the term. They didn't even call them serial killers in the beginning, and they start interviewing all of these former or captured incarcerated serial killers and try to build like profiles on them and try to understand why they do things. And it's super interesting, and it's very well done. It's very well written. And so it's one that it's not finished yet. They just released the second season, and I burned through that mother because it was really good. And it's just one of those things that I'm super excited for the next season to come out. I want to see where they go, and I want to continue watching it. But unfortunately, it's just not there yet, so we have to wait, which sucks. Anyway, so that's my top 5. Those are my shows that, like, if you want something good and you want to get into it, these are the ones that I would recommend. Again, that's Black Mirror, The Office, Breaking Bad, Chernobyl, and Mindhunter. Check them out. If you've seen any of those, definitely let me know what you think. If you haven't, or maybe you watched them and you just couldn't get into them, like, let me know. Tell me what your thoughts are, and if you've got shows that you really love, send them my way. I did not put a few things on this list, and some of you are probably like, what the hell? I do have some honorable mentions, and there's probably some things in here that you may have thought, oh, these are the shows that I love. These aren't in any particular order, but I do think that they deserve some kind of mention. So in no particular order, Game of Thrones makes the list. Great series. I didn't hate the finale. It was just kind of underwhelming, but I loved the story and the ideas and just the way that they executed, like, just top quality budget and just insane storytelling and visuals and all that stuff. So it's a great one. Next on the list, True Detective, another honorable mention. Seasons 1 and 3, mostly season 1. I've watched season 1 of True Detective probably 3 or 4 times. I love it. It's like a super long, really good detective movie, and it's just incredibly well done. It's Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey in the first season, and it's insane. And then season 3, Mahershala Ali, I think is how you say his name. He stars in the 3rd season, and it's really well. The 2nd season's sort of off kilter. I watched like the first 2 episodes, I think, and it just wasn't for me, and I think that's pretty agreed upon by True Detective fans, but definitely one worth checking out. And again, one of the reasons I've watched season 1 so many times is it is its own contained story. You can watch season 1 and it has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you're not missing anything. So check it out. Some more on the list. Friends. I've watched through Friends a couple times. Handmaid's Tale. Another reason why I try not to start shows that aren't complete is, again, Handmaid's Tale I watched last season, kind of cliffhanger, and now it's another year before the next one comes out, so it's annoying. 13 Reasons Why. I liked the first season a lot. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was unique. And the second and third season have been fine. I think they're doing another one. I don't know for sure. Stranger Things makes the list. That one I'm a huge fan of. I love watching it. Again, it's just I'm caught up, so now it's not front of mind. Yellowstone is another one that is pretty interesting that not a lot of people have been talking about, at least in my realm. Yellowstone is Kevin Costner, and it's kind of like a modern day Western. And by modern day, I mean it's literally it's the timeline or the era that it takes place is now. It's not like a remake of John Wayne type stuff. So it's pretty interesting. Orange is the New Black. I didn't watch the last 2 seasons, but I had to throw it out there because it was one of the first like really big Netflix shows that caught my attention. Another one that's good. There's one on Netflix. I think it was originally on like Discovery, but it's Manhunt, Unabomber. It's the story of like Ted Kaczynski. Super interesting, and again, real life. So another reason why I thought it was interesting. Ted Bundy Tapes was really good. Making a Murderer is great. And then there's Unbelievable is fairly new, but it was a really great series. And again, it's kind of self-contained, so you can watch it and be done. And then Evil Genius is another one that I always try to recommend. It's about it's in like the 90s. They called a pizza delivery guy and they kidnapped him and strapped a bomb to him and made him go rob a bank. And it's absolutely insane. So those are my honorable mentions. I can't think of any others, but I'm sure there are some. So anyways, that's all I've got. I know that's a lot of rambling, a lot of TV shows, but again, it's been a minute since we've talked, so I wanted to leave you with a little something. So if you've watched any of those shows that were on my recommended list, leave a comment. Let me know what you think and kind of your thoughts, good or bad. I don't care. If you've got any that you would recommend that I check out, leave them in the comments as well, and then I can go back to them and actually remember, because I'm kind of running out. I'm right now I'm watching The Walking Dead. I quit watching it several seasons ago, and now I'm back, and I'm almost caught up to what Netflix has. So I know that season 10 is on now, and they've got through 9. So I'll have to catch back up later. But I'm running out of shows, so do me a favor, send some my way. But as always, cannot appreciate you guys enough. I love all the love and support that we're getting, and all the awesome comments. If there's anything you guys want us to talk about, please let me know. If not, be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, blah, 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 blah. Any of those places. And be sure to share it with your friends. Comment on posts, share them, spread the word. That is how we get listeners, and that's how we get, more attention, I guess. And more attention means, maybe more topics, more input, and that kind of stuff. So, anyways, thank you guys so much. I appreciate the support. And hopefully, if the schedule doesn't go bananas again, we can talk in the next episode. But love you guys. And, oh, that's loud. Well, it won't be loud for you guys, but... Ooh. Anyways, while I'm having this thing freak out on me, thank you guys again for the support. We'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.